Am I audible? Yeah. Okay. So let me start. I think I'm audible, right? To all of you. All of you are able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So let us start. In the last session, actually, so we were working on the some procedure. Okay. It was not giving the output, the student and grade. It is because of that this line was missing actually. So here, whenever if it is a null is there, we are replacing the zero. Otherwise, it is null with null is coming. So because of that, this is the problem. So I have added this, then it started working. So it is I think I discussed this function in the SQL session. If someone has forgotten, just look into it. Okay. So whenever you wanted to set, when you are performing grade, grade has null value. Okay. And on that, you cannot run the sum function. And for that reason, in that situation, we are adding the zero and then we are doing the aggregate function. So because of that, it was a problem. So that was been rectified. Anyhow, I will share the lab today. Okay, people can execute it. Similarly, so usually the first one we did through the procedures like on cursors. Okay, temporary. Anyhow, the last part once again I'm going to discuss about cursor. Okay, but at this moment, imagine that this is one way. Keeping the data in temporary folder. Similarly, we have while loop. So how to use while loop? I think so. We have seen this. Okay, in control structure, like a control statement, if condition, we know that. Similarly, while loop also is there. Okay, while loop and end while. So this is we can use it. Repeat for loop is there. For loop is there. So likewise, the same program. So here we have used while. Okay, end while. Okay, this is used. And same program once again used for loop. So just so when you are executing, look into that, okay, and try to understand this actually. Similar to that, we have the case statement, like a case statement allow you to perform conditional branching based on the value of expression case. When expression is true, then this one. When expression is true, this one. Like this, we have a case statement also, similar to a switch statement. If you wanted to do that, similar to this, we can do this. So you can categorize the student grades into a different levels, student ID and grade. So like this, you can able to execute. So using the case statement, you can when you are querying to the select based on the grade, okay, your values are present in this actually. You can compare and you can show the appropriate message. So this is also you can execute, understand this. Similarly, update. If I want to modify, I can add the like a alter table, the existing table. That means if you look into this, there is a table creation we did actually that day. So this is the table. So create student, create like a grade, then insert these records. So this was null because of that last session I was not getting the output. Then after that, so that I applied this logic, and basically then we are able to execute it. So similar to that, so you execute this and check this. Okay. Once that is done, I have done continuation part this. Similarly, here there is a sometimes MySQL always look for the safe update. So you have to open up. Okay. During update, by default, it will not update through the SQL procedures to the safety concerns. Okay. Really, if you want to do that, you have to disable and then you execute, then you can enable once again. So these are the additional steps you have to perform. Similarly, leave statement, it is similar to a break statement. So when counter is greater than 5, leave loop label, that is the label. Okay, you can exit from this. So this is what the leave. Similar to a break statement, break is going to the break the label as a loop. Similar to that, if you want to loop from the certain this one, so then definitely you can use the leave. Wherever you are thinking about break, you can use the leave statement. And similarly, wherever you wanted to use a continue statement, you can use the iterate. Okay. So these are the two things you can understand. Similarly, continue handler. So this is if you want to raise an exception and we are inserting to a log table, you can use this. So these are the theoretical aspect for each. I have already coded. Just you execute and check this. Similarly, if I want to raise the signal message, so you can. This is called signal statement. Raise an exception or custom error. I can say that. If you want to do that, we can use the signal statement. So this in this way, like you can able to understand the basic foundations of procedures. Okay. So any questions here? Yeah, Chandralekha.
Yes, sir. What are signal statement?
Signal statement. Have you? Do you know exception handling?
Yes, sir.
Same thing. You are raising an exception.
Okay.
So this is just like a throw exception, right? Similar to that, we are. This is
Okay.
the number and this is the message. Custom exceptions we are doing this.
Okay.
Whenever you execute Oracle or MySQL, for each except messages, the predefined numbers will be there like this. Here, what we have done is we are giving the one number for this, and this is the message. So what is this? Whenever the grade is lesser than 40, okay, we are saying that, okay, this is the number, and we are showing the message. The student has failed in the exam. This is the message we are giving. So same thing, similar to an exception handling. To equivalent to that, we call it as a signal in SQL.
Sure.
Okay. Now, I wanted to discuss here today the new topic, which is called as a functions. Okay. Normally, like when you talk about functions, let me. Okay. So this is quickly. So anyhow, PPT also I will be sharing, so you can go through this. Okay, not a problem. So now let me go to the function. So what is functions here? Actually, functions is nothing but are a subprograms that allow you to encapsulate a set of SQL statement and procedural statement. Okay, that can be used like for example, if we have learned aggregated function in the SQL, average, like a sum. These are all functions which is predefined by the MySQL or Oracle or SQL Server kind of vendors. So packages. But here the functions, if I wanted to do it, okay. So how to do that? So for that you need to understand what is the structure we have to follow, and how do we write that, and where and all we can use it. So functions is nothing but it is a small tiny program or a sub program where for each specific task we write a separate function. So for example, computing the total, that is the sum. Okay, that is a one function. Similarly, finding the average of a given number. So that is a one function. Like that, for each specific task, okay, it is not a procedure completely. It is a set of specific task, I can say that we call it as a functions. So usually, what is the difference between procedure and function will come later, okay? Anyhow, I will discuss that. What are the features of a functions in PLSQL? It returns a value. Okay, even you can say that procedure also returns a value, but you have to set the out variable. Okay, here return a value. One value can be returned. So, but in Python you can return more than one value. Java, C++, all these things they are written only one value. So here SQL also returns a function, returns a value. Encapsulate is nothing but hiding the SQL statements within the function. Okay, the abstract logic. For example, simple calculator I wanted to build. Just pass the number, it gives the sum, add, mod, delete. So if you want to do such type of task, functions will be used. Okay, the parameters can be accepted and also it can be returned. And usually, functions can be used within SQL statements. Okay, if I want to write like how we use it in aggregated functions in the SQL sessions, if you want to use your own custom function, that is possible. Okay, so here also we have like a signal, so we have to provide the error handling concepts. security wise, like a function can be used to encapsulate a sensitive or complex operation, but there is a limited security. Okay. Modifiability, you need to change the logic or calculation within the function. You can do in one place and making a throughout this, but modifiability most of the time, if you want to modify the database or update the database, we will not write the functions. We will use only for computation purpose. Please remember. So modification, if I wanted to do update, delete, something you wanted to do, that we always go for the procedures. Okay. So when you want to create a function, okay, if you see here, there is a delimiter. Okay, that is a this one create function. There create procedure was there. Here create function name. Here there in or out or in out parameter was there. Here parameters can be passed. Here you remember what is the return data type value you are going to return. So for example, whether you are going to return integer value, return float value. So you have to mention that. Then begin, end. It can return the value. So this is how a simple normal syntax of a function. Create function, function name, parameter, and data type, returns the return type. So begin and end in this return delimiter. If you look at this example, the function delimiter, create function, square, input parameter is integer value you are passing, returns like a int, and you are declaring the local variable, and you are setting the result here, input number into input number, squaring that, and you are setting the result, and then you are returning the result. So this is how you have to write the simple functions. What is the advantage to use it? We'll see how to write the different types of functions. Okay, with example. What is the advantage? Code reusability. You can use the same function across the different part of a procedure. So that was the advantage. We can use in the simplify the queries calculations, and it will give the abstraction. You can improve the performance. Okay, redundant calculations you can compute and keep it and keep using it. Simplify the logic. Readability will be very easy. And the same logic can be, since the common logic you have written consistently, you can get the same output. You do not require to test frequently. Since it is seamlessly, it can integrate with SQL, we have no issues. And it can be tested independently. So these are some of the benefits of the functions actually. So before coming to the differences, let me go back here and we will try to execute some of the functions for better understanding. So simple function, calculate a square of a number. Just now we have seen, right? Okay. Let me go here. Create database, UPLDB. So we have done. So now refresh this. There is a database. So pre-defined structure has been created. Tables we use on this one. Now if I want to create, so we can create this one. Okay. So here the one word in MySQL, this should be included, deterministic. So if consistently returning the same value, that is called deterministic. Explicitly you have to tell in MySQL, but not in other Oracle or SQL Server. But in MySQL, you have to tell that whether this function is giving the same output or what. Like for example, if it is a random number generation, it is non-deterministic. So that's why this is one of the mandatory thing. By default, always deterministic. So no database selected. Okay, I will select this. Either you can double click here or use UPLDB. So let me execute this. The functions has executed. So now if you see here, so you have a square function. Now if I want to call, so same. Now usually we used to write call, right? So if I want to see the output, so select with select query. This is a square of a function. So square, I am passing the value and storing in temporary variable called the result. So now let me see here. So you are able to see the output result. So this is how we can write and try to execute the function. So we have understood what is function. It is a reusable block of or self-contained block of statements. Usually it will return a value. Okay. In SQL, so create function name, argument. You do not require to write in out parameter unlike a procedure. Return type you have to mention here. and you have to mention deterministic or non-deterministic, begin and end, and then this is the logic you are going to write. So this is how you can call and you can execute. Let us see.
Sir, what is that deterministic? Can you repeat again?
Deterministic means, madam, if I generate a random number here, instead of that, if I write a random number generation for logic, every time you run, okay, we don't know unpredictable value is coming. Okay, so just to indicate that whether this function is consistently returning the value, for example, random number, once you generate 5 number will come, another number may come something, some XYZ. So then we have to write the non-deterministic. So the concept, so this is not there in other, this one, MySQL, they are expecting to write this actually function. So deterministic means consistently, we are telling that, okay, it is a consistent result. For 500 times, if you run, 25 only will come. So that is the meaning.
So, sir, if we will call this square function with a 6 or 7,
So
means
that time
if
36, 37 comes, but random number is not like that. It is unpredictable value.
okay, means if it is predictable and we are sure that this will come, so it should
So
be
explicitly they are asking to tell this one is a deterministic.
Okay.
Okay, that is the syntax they have given to be followed.
Okay,
Okay.
so one more thing, sir. So if we are asking, suppose log we are asking, I don't know, means if log values we can ask here or not. So for those
No,
also
log
we
value,
can,
those are properly, if you give input, it will come. But there are some behaviors like you are generating random kind of functions. Okay, we don't know if you generate something random number. Okay, it may give various other, maybe what is the random number, I don't know. In Python, sorry, here. Okay, so random function, if you write it here, it will become a non-deterministic. Let me see any other examples are there. But always remember, so for 5, the calculation will be same, right? Square. Okay. For example, if you want to do the log, so logarithmic of base 10, so base 10, it will be if you wanted to compute, that is remains same, right? So that is consistent result. So for that, they are telling is a deterministic. Okay, but if you feel that it is an unpredictable value, we have to mention as a non-deterministic, I think. Okay, somewhere I have. So I think all the deterministic one I feel.
Understood, sir. So suppose if our function is giving the number of digits in a string or a sentence what we send, so that will be non-deterministic.
Dynamically, you are giving something which is
Huh.
that time only you have to make change to non-deterministic.
Okay.
Okay. So the factorial of a number, it is deterministic, right? So how do you do this? It is a very simple function. The logic you should know. See, I'm not discussing a logic here, okay? Because that is a part of C program. Logic, if you don't know, the basic logic of C programming or something like that. So then there is a C sessions are there where we are building the logic. So here, I believe that you know how to build the logic. Just we are exploring here as a data web application developer or SQL, just for while loop, what is the syntax? For loop, what is the syntax? Do while loop is what is the way. If I start telling the logic here, then it will take some other direction. So here, that's why I was not discussing here. But for example, so I have a 8 to 9 p.m. There's a C programming session where I will be discussing logic actually. So please understand the session objective about when we are talking about the SQL. Yeah. So here, when you say factorial of a number, you should know what is factorial. Factorial means I think everyone knows here, whoever is joined here. Returns big int. If it is a big number, it will be determined. So declaring the result, declaring the I, it is as good as writing the logic like a 5 factorial is equal to 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, it may be 120, something like this. So if we wanted to do that, so we can use while loop, for loop, do while loop. Okay, the n number, if I send 5, I will become the 5. 5 greater than 1, do while. Okay, so I'm just setting the value. So 5 into, okay. So like this, I'm setting the result value. Result is default value is equal to 1. If it is a 0, then it will multiply with anything will become 0. I assuming that result temporary variable or a flag is 1 into 5. Next, then we reduce the 5 to 4. Then once again 3, 2, 1. So this is the logic we are building. So if you look at this function, so if I want to write this, so this is the factorial of a number. Okay, something. Okay, so now it is executed. So now let me go here. So there is another function key. Now, if I want to execute, same. How do you execute? Through select queries. So if I want to discuss, so just I have to go here, factorial of 5. So 120, I got it. So this is how I can execute the functions. Similarly, if I want, I have a table. Okay, so just I have shown for the logic purpose and syntax purpose, I have explained this. Get the student's average grade. Okay, I wanted to utilize the function to compute the average grade. So rather than earlier I shown in the procedure, but now I am using the functions. Now let me go to the table. So let me remove this. Okay, create students. This is done. And similarly, create a data definition language for, because all these things we already discussed in the SQL sessions, initial session, data definition language, how to create a table. So I think, remember, students and grades has been created here. Now I wanted to create, insert a student records. I have inserted it. Similarly, insert grades. Okay, so DML, data manipulation language, insert query. We have executed the student table and this one is done. Now, so as usual, this is the starting and ending. Let me write this function. Now, if you look into that, the get average grade, what we are passing every time, student ID we are passing. So then always it is deterministic many times. Declare average grade, decimal 5,2. The 2 decimal points are there, average grade. Select average is the aggregated function. Okay, grade, okay, number into average grade. From grades where student ID is equal to student ID. So if it is a null, we have to use the 0. So now this is the function. So let me execute the function. So function has been executed. Okay. Now, once this is done, now let me. So now this is the function, how to use this. So here, this is the predefined function they have used. Okay. Here, what I'm using, my own custom Excel. This one is using. So this is how we are using it. So average grade, so AVG grade and student name I am displaying. So this is for every query. So for example, when it is executing, so it is taking each student ID and it is trying to 1, 2, 3, something like that. For example, select star from students. So every time 1, that is Amit, for him, average grade has been computed and showing it. There is no separate column, please understand. Okay, student ID, student name is there. But I wanted to compute, if you want to compute something, okay, we can from the grades table. So select star from grades. Okay, so here we have, okay, same the grade 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, student ID based on that. So it is generating the average grade. So here, what we have done, just remember how the SQL inbuilt functions are there. Similar to that, we can also do it. So that is aggregated functions. So how do you write, how they would have done it? Similar to us, they would have written similar to this type of functions and they would have computed. And similar to that, we can write our own custom function and this is the syntax. Any questions here? Any questions, please?
Sir, for the fixed size of input, we are getting the same amount of output, right? Like how deterministic, like how are you like can you give an example for that
So
deterministic?
deterministic means here, this is all these functions are consistently giving the correct
Okay.
information only. So by
Like
default,
for example,
deterministic.
for non-deterministic, can we take example for date and time because it gives different
No.
date and different
That
time.
is also deterministic. But for example, if I want to generate, so I mean, see, this is not doing any inside this one. They have given, okay. For example, for random number generation, if instead of this, so something random function is there, okay. Okay, this becomes the what? Do you know what number will be generated when you use the random number?
No.
Anything, sir, like
Yeah, you cannot, we don't know. So that time it should be, I think, non-deterministic. We have to remove it or what? MySQL, right? So let me. What is the syntax? Usually it is an inconsistent value should be. So time, select now current time. So random function, UID. So these type of methods if you use it. Using same function. Just let me give. Only it is in MySQL, we have to give like that. So like this, not deterministic. This version it is not supporting. Just one second. Still it is not. Some restrictions is there to execute, but this is working. Random number. So here, next, once again, I will explain. So now we got the result for first time, same function I called 40. Second time it is giving 97. Third time this is giving this, but this is actually non-deterministic. So actually earlier, I think in this version it was not working, but actually we have to give this as the non-deterministic, as it is like this. So now it is working for deterministic also, but it is undeterministic behavior. Probably they will remove this statement also. But this is not applicable for other like MySQL or Oracle. But in the MySQL, they have given this kind of procedure. So you got it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so the deterministic means like a consistent result. Here there is no consistent result. Random number is giving different values. Same function is giving different values. There is no code change. There is no parameter change. To tell that, they used to do the non-deterministic. Okay. So that is what we used to do that. So I think we have understood what is the deterministic and what is not. The function like a factorial of 5, okay, it is there. By default, normally every time it is a habit to use it, we have used it. Good thing is that so not consistent, majority of time we will not use, but current version, it is not supporting for not only deterministic, it is supporting. So that's why I have shown that. So similarly, if you look at that, okay, we have understood how to write a simple functions, okay. But in the table, if you want to understand, okay, in the table, so someone wants to use it. So average grade we have seen, and this is we have executed. Finally, we are able to get it. Similarly, let us take one more example for employee bonus calculation. So let me go here. The employee bonus calculation. See, always remember functions to be used to come for the only for computation. Don't try to do insert, update, delete. For that, you write the procedure. Now let me go here, create an employee table. So employee table has employee ID, name, salary, and experience. So we are inserting for the dummy employee records. So just we are introducing here. Okay, then we are creating a create function of some complex method here. Employee ID we are passing, and this is a declaration. Okay, then we are computing this. Okay, then this is the logic we are writing here. We are setting the bonus, and finally we are returning the bonus for that employee ID after computation. So this is the computation logic. For each employee ID, we are computing and we are returning. So whichever the employee ID they are passing. So according to that, we are doing this. Now let me write here. So select create function name. We are passing employee ID, return the some like a bonus value. So 1001, 1, 2, 3, if you pass that, we query that. For that, we compute how many years of experience lesser than 3. The bonus calculation is 5% bonus. If their experience is between 3 to 7, we are adding 10% bonus. If their salary is like above, other than these two, then we are adding the 15% bonus. So this is how only for computation purpose we are using the function. So we have created that. Now I wanted to write a query. So assume that if I want to write this complex calculation, it is not possible in a single query, right? So if I wanted to do that, okay, I wanted to know because average salary, something like this. If I wanted to do this, okay, it is possible because already they have written. But I don't have something like that total something XYZ. So salary is there. Maybe something else if I wanted to do, I can do that. Okay. But if I want to compute the bonus based on the salary, I have to write a logic. If I want to write a logic, then like average salary or some salary, something like that. If you wanted to, instead of writing like this, can we write custom function? Yes, we can write a custom function. So what you are passing? Whatever for this employee ID I am passing, we are writing the complex logic here, and it will return some value that we are showing here. So this is how the computation is there. Okay, salary, experience is 2,500 is bonus. If it is 5,000, and above that, yeah, like a 15% bonus. Computation, we are able to do this. In this type of purpose we are using. But ideally speaking, since we are using all developers nowadays, no one is using for the writing the business logic because we use the application programming like Python, Java, or C#. That's why we also are not having the habit of writing the code here. But as a data analyst, sometimes, okay, if they want to make use of this logic, functions logic for report generations, then we should have this type of practice. That's it. So earlier days, almost more than 10 years, like other than DBA people, the most of the people have stopped writing functions and procedures. That's why majority of people will not be aware of PL/SQL. So, but when we were started our career, we used to write lot of queries because for the coding purpose, at that time, the primary programming languages are initial stages. Some logic we used to mix in database, some logic we used to write in this one. Finally, people have started talking about the maintenance purpose. Then Java developer, they started saying, no, don't write the procedures, functions, write, use only in Java, just write the basic queries and bring back to that. And later, Hibernate kind of concepts came. Okay, you do not require to write the SQL queries also. So because of this journey, okay, people have lost writing PL/SQL actually. But when we are dealing with only as a DBA or a data analyst, okay, when you are playing with the data, okay, I do not require to write a go once again to write a programming. That time they want your expertise in writing the queries, okay. So that's the reason as a data engineer or data analyst, always we have to brush up PL/SQL as well, so that when we have a complex scenarios or complex situations, okay, then definitely like a computation of a bonus or something like that, if you wanted to do, then better to have an idea of, okay, there is a concept called procedure and there is a concept called functions. So that is why we are learning the functions. We are exploring the functions. So any questions here? So able to follow?
Yes, sir.
Okay, others?
Yes, sir.
I think I have not recorded only today. Yeah, that's good. So similarly, so there is some more stored procedures. In the procedures, if I wanted to use, okay, this is, I have used it. But if I want to show you one example in stored procedures, so student, grade, insert, after that, I wanted to, this is the function I have written. This function I wanted to use in the procedure. So let me try, okay, so that we have explored all those things. Let me drop everything. Okay. Now assume that so this is an example we wanted to showcase, within the procedure. Okay, I want to use the function. Now this is the SQL query we are using it. Similar to that, if I want to use, okay, in the procedure. Just I am trying to explore all possibilities as of now. So now we'll go to the insert. Similarly, insert grades. So I am copy pasting, but I am expecting you people to type it because you people have the career in this actually. So that will, when you are writing, rather than copy pasting, it is better to type so that you will be having a awareness. So if you go to this is the get average grade. Okay. So this is the one function. Okay, we have written. Now let me go to the procedure. So procedure we already learned. So just I am making use of functions. So just my object is here, how to use this actually. So similar to a query. So average grade, I'm calling the functions here. Okay. And for that purpose, how to use. So similar to SQL query, you can use in the procedure. So here, this is the function. So you can write small reusable functions. You can use across the different procedures. So for computation purpose, calculation purpose, I can write a small functions. Then I can execute the procedure. So then you can see the average grade, which was null initially in the table. So now there will be computation. So average grade will be computed. So this is how we can do the procedures and functions combinedly, and we can use effectively for our query to the database. So this is how we can do that. Any questions here? Yeah, all of you are able to follow. Yeah, similar to that. Okay. So actually, when you go to the Oracle, there is a concept of package, but we don't have concept in MySQL. Okay. So package is nothing but a modularization. So if I am using procedure also, functions also, earlier days, what used to happen, this type of distinguishing structure was not there. So that's why we used to do the modularization. So like a module, department module, employee module, in that two procedures and three functions, if I wanted to use. Oracle still it has, okay, but MySQL, since they have segregated within this way, so they are not segregated within that. So that's why they are not, we don't have a concept of packaging. It is just like they feel that functions is a one package, stored procedure is a one package. So that is how it has been done, okay. But when you are using the Oracle, there is a concept of package. You can create a package. Within the package, you can create set of functions and set of stored procedures. So that is possible. Anyhow, finally, all are the SQL queries. So you do not require to worry too much. So this is just simple combination of functions and grade we are using here. So I have created a table. Just you execute a function grade A plus. So the marks table will be there. Based on that marks, we are showing the grade. Function is returning the grade. Then I updating to the students table. So this is the procedure, and I can use and show the procedure. So this is how we can use within the procedure how to use the functions get grade. So this is what we can do that. So like this we can so student name and marks, this grade can be computed and it can be updated in the table. Then procedure we can use it and we can update it. So this is an example to demonstrate for that. So, so once this is done, okay, I think we have a sufficiently spent in understanding what is stored procedure and what is function. Let us, the last 2 minutes we'll spend on to understand the differences between stored procedure and functions. So if you remember and recollect, okay, purpose of stored procedure, use it to performing operations like modifying data. So update, insert or something in the table data. If you want to do that, you have written the stored procedure. But functions we are not using for updating the database or a table. Okay, we are using for computations and then we are returning a value. So please remember the purpose of usage. Okay, the purpose of usage in the function. Return value can return multiple values using the out parameter. Okay, if you want to return more than one out parameter, it is possible. Functions always return only one value. Please remember this. Calling mechanisms, we use the call. Here we have used the select. Okay, so you can have seen that in procedure we use the call procedure name. But if you want to call the functions, we have to use the select statement. And usage in queries cannot be used in select statement, okay, and can be used in select wherever it is there, you can use it actually. Modifications of data, yes, I already told you, insert, update, delete, okay. But this is, please understand, functions cannot modify the data, only do the computation and give back the result. If you want to store, you have to take the temporary variable or you have to update to the table. Transaction control, like a commit, rollback, okay. These things, it is because we are handling the DML part, okay. This commit and rollback makes sense when you are writing, but here does not make sense actually. So does not support for transaction control. So parameters, input, output, and denote parameter, we have already seen that, but it is always take in parameters, okay. There is nothing called concept of out and in out because it will return the value. So here return type, no fixed return type, and we always require to define the return type. So that is the function. If there is no return type, there is no meaning for function. So always remember there will be a return type here. Performance slightly slower due to overhead because it has to do a lot of computations. Here just a computations, there is no exactly overhead here. So that's why it is faster than this one. So you can use continue handler. Okay, this is for error handling, and we never use a error handling mechanism because this is a small function. Okay, and best for complex business logic to be written, but how, and here only for calculation purpose. So from more than a decade, people are talking about data analysis and data analytics. People almost, they have forgotten the PLSQL, but because of recent trends, people have started once again refreshing the PLSQL concept. Procedure and what is the function now? Yeah. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So next session we will be discussing about cursors and triggers. Okay. Tomorrow will not be there. Day after tomorrow it will be there. Okay. Because this week we have missed 2 sessions. That's why I wanted to take on Friday and Saturday, so that I want to make up the sessions whatever I have missed it. So we will discuss about those 2 parts. Once that is done, cursors and triggers, I will send the lab set and the whatever the PDF PPT I have. And please go through that and practice that, okay? And more, please don't copy paste like me, because for me within 45 minutes I have to rather than typing one program for 1 hour, so just I am copy pasting. But since you people are a practitioners, I am expecting you to see that, type yourself, okay? Then you will learn a lot of things. So is it clear to all of you? Yeah. So with this note, we can conclude for today's session. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.